Yeah, it just feels really good to wrap up our good long homestand 11 games. Our fans were fantastic. I don't know what they haven't updated the attendance this week, but we were second in the nation last week, and the crowds were phenomenal again this weekend. And can't thank enough, can't say enough to thank our fans for their support, and it's really helped us in this kind of a rough stretch at the first 30 days of the season for our team. But anyway, off to a great start. Finished the weekend 5-0, 11-0 on the season. We're healthy. We feel good about ourselves. We like where we're at. We're excited about the upcoming weekend, and then we're really through the roof with the performance of our young team and the kids, and excited about what they've done so far.
Did you ever expect this start to your season?
It doesn't surprise me because I saw them practice. We had a great fall, and I'm really excited about our team in January. And but you worry about an injury or so many things could happen to detour you. But actually, I knew it was within the possibility that they could start the way they have. The numbers and stuff are a little bit better than what I expected to be. But the 11-0 part I thought was a possibility.
How can that carry you into this trip to Waco?
Everything's good. We're going to learn more about our team this weekend on the road. I think one of the things we struggled with last year was the road trips, and so I wanted to get out on the road early this year and take on really good teams. And Baylor's a really good opponent. I think they're 7-3 on the season. North Texas, I think, is 8-1 on the season, and then Kent State just played this weekend. They're 3-2, but they swept Penn State, a Big Ten Power 5 school, 10-0 and 11-1, I believe. North Texas beat Texas A&M, an SEC school, traditionally one of the best teams in the SEC, or one of the upper half teams, and they beat them 10-2, run rule victory over A&M, and then of course Baylor's always one of the top 2 or 3 teams in Big 12, and Glenmore is a phenomenal coach. When I was at Georgia, we lost 2 super regionals to him. So I know he's been to the World Series a couple times lately. And he's a great coach and great person, and his team will be well prepared, and they'll give us a really good quality opponent.
And what's the difference with you guys offensively? Just your second year with the school. What's just the difference with you guys offensively, and how's that changed just, having another year with these ladies?
Having the fall. I mean, the fall is really critical for the kids to understand our philosophy, and I underestimated how difficult it was to transition in hitting. I thought it would. Last spring taught me that the fall is critical, and so we really took advantage of it in the fall. We worked really hard on our hitting. I think the kids understand our terminology now, and understand what we're on the same lingo and same language, and they've responded really well. And they're very talented, and they're very fast, and they've added power. So offensively, I think the fall is a critical part.
I mean, this team had 23 home runs all of last year, and you have 15 already through 2 weekends. That speaks to just how much power was emphasized in the spring and fall.
I think it speaks to the talent of our kids. We're very talented, and they've worked really hard. So I think those 2 things, it speaks to how talented they are and how hard they've worked. 23 was an aberration. It was an aberration for this program traditionally, and it was an aberration from my coaching style in the SEC. I think 60 was the lowest I'd had in the last 9 years, and I would think that probably 60 would be about the lowest that UL ever had in the last 9 years. But we also recognize with the roster we had last year, the main thing always in any sport is to win, and we had defense and speed last year, and so we emphasized speed and defense and figured out a way to win what we had. Great kids. I just think adding the power to the speed this year gives us a better chance in postseason. But we did not give up anything on defense, and we didn't give up any speed to get that power. We've done it with talent and true. It's important that we stay focused on defense. If you leave out defense, you're setting yourself up for failure in the postseason.
Coach, what are your hitting philosophies? What kind of hitting philosophies did you implement specifically? Were you able to do this fall? With the ones that it was kind of made them as successful as they've been early this season?
Yeah, I think having a great approach at the plate is critical. You want to look for a good pitch, as simple as that sounds, but you emphasize getting a good pitch, and then knowing, selecting the right pitch count, knowing what the opponent's go-to pitch is, having a good scouting report, and then having a game plan, and then being able to bring the game plan from the locker room to the field. And that's where we're going to get a lot better as the season goes on. We're just now, even this weekend, we failed to bring our pregame plans to the first inning, the second inning, third inning, and it was fourth, fifth inning sometimes before we really got to our game plan. And that's where we can improve. And then mechanic-wise, with the lower half, the key for girls is to use the lower half and swing the bat with the lower half. And so we did a lot of work with that all fall and throughout the springs, and we'll continue to maintain that. So
you're placing a lot of importance on winning these early games and maybe not dropping one to a lesser opponent. And you're using Summer to get that done, and she's obviously the ace. But how much can we expect to see maybe Gerry and Kendra this weekend at Gerry?
We'll play it. A lot of that depends on Summer's health and how her body begins to feel wear and fatigue, and we're just having to watch really, really close, and we'll continue to do that. But my plan going into season was to really use Summer a lot the first 27 games, the first half of the season, and then the second half of the season we'll really get into trying to develop that number two and put an emphasis on developing number two so we've got a strong bullpen in the postseason.
With that number two, you talked about yesterday the defense kind of maybe being the deciding factor in making the change. Will that ultimately kind of play the biggest role in if it's Gerry or Kendra or Dixon or whoever it may be?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you look at the statistics, Kendra, opponents are batting 0.47 off of her. And yesterday was just simple communication. It was just we had some really poor communication going on between her and the infield and between the infield and her. And that's just us. We got to, as coaches, we've got to take responsibility for that, and we'll get them out on the field this week, and we'll clean that up. And then there's no doubt Kendra is extremely talented. You don't have to watch her pitch but a couple of innings to realize she's got immense talent, and then we just have to slowly but surely add the experience to her. But I don't want to overwhelm her either. I want to really protect her and be careful. I think she's such a good talent that we have to be really responsible with how we use her. And I used the analogy as a high draft choice NFL quarterback. I want to be sure we don't put her out there too soon and get her in over her head and let her get her head spinning and make it bigger than it is. I want to bring her along really slowly. And Carrie Boswell's done extremely well. Coach Roberts has really had a good relationship working with her, and you can see the improvement. She's throwing very hard. She's learned to drop the ball. She's got a really effective drop ball at the knees now. And I expect her to be very good the rest of the season.
Coach, what's been most impressive to you so far early this season with this team?
You know what? The consistency of all areas of the game. We look at our fielding percentages, .979 with 6 errors all year. You look at our pitching staff, our ERA is .73, only give up 8 runs, I believe, all year. And then the offense, I've got like 7 hitters over a 1 OPS and 4 kids hitting 400, 5 kids with 10 double-digit RBIs. And everything's good right now. So the quality of the whole and the performance of the whole team has been the most pleasing thing to me.
Coach, what do you think is the difference between the two matchups against Austin Peay? What's the biggest difference between the two matchups? I know you won the first game 2-1. It's not how you want to win it, but then you beat them 10-0 the next game.
Having a scouting report, with the lefty pitcher was really good. She's a high quality pitcher, and it caught me off guard. I didn't have a good enough scouting report on her, but once we had film on her and once we saw her pitch, I thought our kids did an outstanding job of making some adjustments and were able to get to her a little bit better on the second day, which we should be able to do, but sometimes you don't.
For a while now, kind of what Cody was asking, whether you use Gerry or Kendra, could it depend a lot on the style of play of the opponent? Absolutely.
That's a really good point. There's one of the differences, Gerry's working down. She's going down with drops and got an effective changeup, and she can go up hard because she throws so hard. But, she's going to get a lot of ground balls. She's an extremely good fielder in the circle. So anytime we're wanting to get ground balls, we're going to go with her. Kendra can go down. She has a good drop ball, but she has the ability to throw high in the zone and get a lot of strikeouts, a lot of pop-ups, a very, very good pitch in the top half of the zone. And so, it's a good matchup. You know, Kendra would be a better matchup. Somebody that doesn't have power, and Carey's a better matchup for a team that hits a lot of home runs. Maybe.
Could you 4-3 them a lot?
I think they would
Down the
contrast.
road?
Yeah, I think they would contrast because, you know, like I said, Kendra's going up. So when you bring Carey in, she goes down, or vice versa. So in that sense, yeah, they're a very good contrast.
How did your team respond in the few close games you had this weekend? How did you notice? How did they respond in the dugout?
You know, I thought they were great. I thought they were really good, but they did that all last year, and that starts with Kara Grimion and Lexi Como, the seniors. They just know how to win. And Summer, they're competitive kids. They're blue collar kids. They love to compete. And if you go back to last year, we were in a lot of one-run games. We were in 14 extra inning games. They figured out a way to win those, and so didn't surprise me in any way. But there is a sense of relief once you see them do it again, and we needed those. We needed those kind of games. We need some games where you know we get behind, and I thought we've been behind I think 3 times this season, and they bounce right back and compete when they get behind, and then you know when we get late in the game in a tie game, I always feel like we got the advantage.
Staying on that subject, before the season started, Lexi and Alyssa both said that the biggest difference between last year's squad and this one is the connection between the girls, that they can essentially read each other's minds. Now that you've seen 11 games, do you agree that they know what to do, and they don't really have to communicate as much because they're reading each other's minds?
Absolutely, and that goes to a steady, consistent fall where you know we had great practices and a practice plan carried throughout the fall, and so you know you'd expect them to be a more cohesive unit, a more understanding of each other unit, a more in sync unit, and we're seeing that. They're also really good kids, and then when you get a kid like Milligan that can play outstanding defense out in left field, you can bring her in at second base, and she can play there, and that we've got pieces that are able to move all over the field. And Como's just whatever she'll catch, she'll play left, she'll play first base, she'll DH, whatever we need her to do, she's going to do for us this year, and she's got the talent to do that, so that always helps as well.
The speed, you talked about speed and defense from a year ago, and you added even more speed. Keely's got 15 steals. Kara, who we don't talk about running the bases, has, I think she's 12 or 13. How much pressure can the havoc you can cause on the base pass then cause with all the power in the lineup that aids into helping the power? Because pitchers maybe not focus as much as they should be.
Absolutely. You know, when you got speed on the bases, it takes away the drop ball in the dirt, and it takes away the changeup. And so, you know, it's really important that we have speed right ahead of Bailey Curry because it makes it really hard to throw her changeup. And there was a time yesterday when Curry was in, and I thought, I want to be sure he didn't throw a changeup as 2-0 count, so I put in a pinch runner just because I knew that the coach wouldn't throw a changeup at that point if I put that speed on first. And so speed's a huge part of any game, and it's makes our team a lot more difficult to defend. And the biggest thing for me, it gives us the opportunity to win different ways. We've already won with Keely's speed leading off and stealing 3 or 4 bases in a game, and then yesterday we won with our power going off and hitting home runs. And you know, I think this team can beat you in a variety of ways.
Couple more.
Is this weekend, the biggest thing about this weekend is seeing Carey and Kendra pitch on the road and them working their situation out, or what's the biggest thing in your mind about going into this weekend?
The biggest thing in my mind is winning and getting ourselves set up for a postseason seed. You know, we don't have a lot of opportunity to really show the NCAA selection committee how good a team we are. They're going to be able to look at our numbers and know we're a quality ball club. But it's important, I think, that we get some road wins against Big 12, and you know, it's important, I think, that we go up there and win. And then second to that, I would say it probably is finding out more about Kendra and Carey.